Hello, hello. Welcome to the show. I honestly need to listen to what I'm about to say because I do not know how this will sound to you guys. But anyway, regardless, hello, welcome to the show. My name is Jacob Davidson. I'm a legal layman in North Texas. And this is a show where I try to learn the law and educate while I learn. And it's a pleasure to be back. I've been away for a little while. And as you can see, I got a new thing right here. Not the same as what was before. I got more RAM, more SSD. I got a Rodecaster Pro 2, and I got a RA20 thing right here. Yeah, I'm gonna probably take a moment at the very start here and listen to myself as I talk into the mic. It's gonna be very confusing to myself, but figured it's worth getting a sound check on myself. Got a Caster Pro 2, got a RA20. Regardless, hello, welcome to the show. My name is Jacob Davidson. I'm a legal layman in North Texas. And this is a show where I try to learn the law and educate while I learn. Pleasure to be back. Away for I guess it's just my voice, huh? Yeah. Probably just gonna keep I don't sound awful. Also need to see if sound transmitted from my video is classified as chat. As you can see, I got a new thing, right? Not the same. That's annoying. Was before. Alright, so we're here. We're back. That was probably a weird probably heard duplications or weird repeats, but that's my bad. I'll have that not be a problem now. So today, the topic is the Texas House committees and Texas Senate committees. I figured if I'm going to be doing this whole like deep dive thing with the government and law, I may as well do a deep dive into, I don't know, the 88th legislature. Especially since it concerns me. Figured, that's a good reason, if anything, to do that. I think I'm trying to resolve issue. All right, hopefully that resolves what that is. I have to listen to myself again to be sure. I got more RAM, more. Damn. All right, I'll have to figure that out later. I don't even think there's a way to get that separated out in the way that I want it to. Regardless, to the topics, I'll be reading the legislatures, or rather the legislators' committees, or legislative committees, going over what those do, because in the House of Representatives, if you go to the actual committee, it'll actually give you laws or sections of jurisdiction. And I presume that this could be tied back to the Texas Constitution. So, with all that said, we're going to go right into it. Should I do this? All right. Yeah, I'll do that. Sorry, I'm back and now I'm looking at things and it's like, maybe I want to change this and maybe I want to change that. Maybe, just maybe. So with the House committees, we have the Agriculture and Livestock Appropriations, 4 or 5 different groups between the Appropriations Committee, Business and Industry, Calendars, Corrections, County Affairs, Criminal Jurisprudence, Culture, Recreation, Tourism, Defense and Veterans Affairs, Elections, Energy Resources, Environmental Regulation, General Investigating, Higher Education, Homeland Security and Public Safety, House Administration, Human Services, Insurance, International Relationships, Relations and Economic Development, Judiciary and Civil Jurisprudence, juvenile justice and family issues, land and resource management. Oh, walls are getting pinched. Land and resource management, licensing and administrative procedures, local and consent calendars, natural resources, pension investigating investments and financial services, public education, public health, redistricting, resolutions, calendars, state affairs, transportation, urban affairs, ways and means. Then you got select committees of community safety select, educational opportunity and enrichment, healthcare reform, and youth health and safety. Give me a moment. I'm willing to bet if someone looked at my whole setup, saw how I was doing things, they would be very, very, very upset. Oh. My roadcaster is off to the left in this area right here. My keyboard is right here. Roadcaster, keyboard. My kettle for my tea is right there. And my cup for coffee or tea is right here. So I got basically hardware and electronics sandwiched between liquids that could fuck them up if I don't treat them well. Someone's gonna scream at me one day. The Agriculture and Livestock Committees, what do they do? Well, Agriculture and Livestock is the committee shall have 9 members with jurisprudence over all matters pertaining to. I also want to see. All right, I had kind of an assumption that it would all tie into the Texas Constitution, but no, these are just powers that they've given themselves or have established to differentiate between themselves. Agriculture and Livestock, the committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to 1. Agriculture, horticulture, and farm husbandry, livestock and stock raising, and the livestock industry, the development and preservation of forests and regulation, control, and promotion of the lumber industry, problems and issues pertaining, particularly affecting rural areas of the state, including issues related to the rural economic development. The following state agencies: the Department of Agriculture, the Texas Animal Health Commission, the State Soil and Water Conservation Board, the Texas A&M Forest Service, the Texas Administrator for the South Central Interstate Forest Fire Protection Compact, the Texas Apiary Inspection Service, Texas A&M AgriLife Research, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, the State Seed and Plant Board, the State Board of Veterinary Medical Examiners, the Texas A&M Veterinary Medical Diagnostic Laboratory, the Produce Recovery Fund Board, and the Board of Directors of the Texas Boll Weevil Eradication Foundation Incorporated, and the Texas Wildlife Services. That down. Oh, that's a lot better. Go. That feels like I'm speaking normally. How about that? There we go. Aha. So for this, you have Representative Kane Briscoe, or Briscoe Kane. Let's see. So it's like that. Briscoe Kane. They have Representative Briscoe, who is the chair. Representative Anderson Charles, Doc, or Charles Anderson. Representative, who is the vice chair. Representative Diego Bernal. Vicky Goodwin, Cody Harris, Dan Kitzman, John Rosenthal, Rhonda Timshek, and Terry M. Wilson. Denton County. Oh, nice. Southern Cross of the House, District 65 in the House. The counties, as long as it doesn't engulf Tarrant County. Still, I don't know. I just remembered the idea that I could run for this office in this next election. And not gonna lie, the urge to buy a hot pink cowboy hat has increased. That's the Agriculture and Livestock House Committee. Here's the appropriations. Now, before we get into this one, because it's gonna be a weird one. There's a lot of people in this committee. And there are like 5 different committees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are all members who, this is the umbrella of their committees. And the jurisdictions do not change between them. Yep. All right, so here is the Appropriations Committee. The committee shall have 27 members with jurisdiction over all bills and resolutions appropriating money from the state treasury, all bills and resolutions containing provisions and resulting in automatic allocation of funds from the state treasury, all bills, resolutions, and resolutions diverting funds from the state treasury or preventing funds from going in that otherwise would be placed in the state treasury, and all matters pertaining to claims and accounts filed with the legislature against the state unless jurisdiction over those bills and resolutions is specifically granted by these rules to some other standing committee. The Appropriations Committee may comment upon any bill or resolution containing a provision resulting in any automatic allocation of funds. That tastes like coffee, man. What the fuck? All right. So just to be clear, JC Jedin is the chair, and Tony Rose is the vice chair for subcommittee on Article 2 committee. Article 3 has Gary Van Dever and as chair, and Barbara Gervin Hawkins as the vice chair. Lovely name. Articles 1, 4, and 5 are Mary E. Gonzalez as chair and David Spiller as the vice chair. And Appropriations Subcommittee on Strategic Fiscal Review Committee. Belle Cecil is chair and Donna Howard is the vice chair. Business and Industry. This committee has Oscar Longoria as the chair and Cody Bassett as vice chair. I've seen this name before. I don't know. Maybe they sit a lot. General Investigating. Yep. I still can't believe our own fucking representative in this district that we're in is part of the same group that impeached Ken Paxton. Kinda, yeah. Would you believe it? We're the same party. Well, generally. I'm kind of not really Republican anymore. I mean, I'm not Democrat either. Libertarian. Where to go? Anyway. To the Business and Industry Committee. The committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to industry and manufacturing, industry safety and adequate and safe working conditions, and the regulation and control of those conditions, hours, wages, collective bargaining, and the relationship between employers and employees, unemployment compensation, including coverage, benefits, taxes, and eligibility, labor unions in their organization, control, management, and administration, the regulation of business transactions and transactions involving property interest, the organizing, incorporation, management, and regulation of private corporations and professional associations, and the Uniform Commercial Code and Business Organization Code. The protection of consumers, governmental regulations incident thereto, and agencies of the government are authorized to regulate such activities, and the role of the government in consumer protection, privacy and identity theft, homeowners association, oh dear God, oversight and regulation of the construction industry, and the following state agencies: the State Office of Risk Management, the Risk Management Board, the Division of Workers' Compensation of the Texas Department of Insurance, the Workers' Compensation Research Evaluation Group in the Texas Department of Insurance, the Office of Injured Employee Counsel, including the Ombudsman program of that office, and the Texas Mutual Insurance Company Board of Directors. Ombudsman. An official appointed to investigating complaints against maladministration, especially that of public authorities. It's basically the cop's cop. I guess I should start saying the names of the rest of the people, but if they're not chairs or vice chairs, I don't think they're important. Calendars Committee. Charlie Guerin is on there. I said I wouldn't because they're not important, but he's, as stated earlier, the same guy that impeached Ken Paxton, so you know, it's a little apropos. Oh, I almost spilled. The calendar's procedural committee shall have 11 members with jurisdiction over the placement of bills or resolutions on appropriate calendars, except those within the jurisdiction of the committee on resolutions calendars. The determination of priorities and proposals of rules for floor consideration of such bills and resolutions, and all other matters concerning the calendar system and expediting of the business of the House may be assigned by the Speaker. I wonder if Dade Felon is chair. And the chair for the calendars committee is Dustin Burrows, and the vice chair is Tony Rose. Tony Rose. Corrections. That is an immaculate fucking picture right there. Got a whole fucking ensemble on. Alma Allen, if you ever see this and if you ever hear this, you got a good picture. Keep it up. The corrections committee chair is Abel Herrero, and the vice chair is Kyle J. Castle. Castle. I don't know. Stop having a stupid name, guy. How rude. I put it down here just so I didn't have to worry about that. Probably lower my noise gated. That's a problem. Committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to the incarceration and rehabilitation of convicted felons, the establishment and maintenance of programs that provide alternatives to incarceration, and the state agencies, the State Texas Department of Criminal Justice and the Special Prosecution Unit, the Board of Pardons and Paroles, the Texas Civil Commitment Office, the Texas Correctional Office on offenders and with medical or mental impairments. Oh, my friends. So I had a idea for a bill that pertains to this corrections group. And it's something that could give felons back their rights to bear arms. So, you know, just an idea. I'll probably go over it at some point. County Affairs. Chair is Victoria Nave Criado, and the chair or vice chair is Lynn Stuckey. That's an unfortunate name, not gonna lie. County Affairs Committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to counties, including their organizations, creation, boundaries, governments, and finance, and the compensation of and the duties of their officers and employees. Establishing districts for the elections of the governing bodies of counties, regional councils of governments, multi-county boards or commissions, relationships or contracts between counties, other units of local government, and the following state agencies: the Commission on Jail Standards. Criminal Jurisprudence Committee is chaired by Joe Moody and vice chaired by David Cook. This committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to criminal law, prohibitions, standards, and penalties, probation and parole, criminal procedures in courts of Texas, revision or amendment of the penal code, and the following state agencies: the Office of State Prosecuting Attorney and the Texas State Council for Interstate Adult Offender Supervision. Being a little weird, sorry. All right, criminal jurisprudence was last one. Culture, Recreation, and Tourism Committee, chaired by Trent Ashby and vice chaired by Armando Martinez. Culture, Recreation, and Tourism. The committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over the creation, operation, and control of state parks, including the development, maintenance, and operation of state parks in connection with the sales and use tax imposed on sporting goods, but not including any matter within the jurisdiction of the Committee on Appropriations. The regulation and control of the propagation and preservation of wildlife and fish in the state. The hunting and regulation of fish and oyster industry of the state. Hunting and fishing in the state and the regulation and control thereof, including the imposition of fees, fines, and penalties relating to that regulation. The regulation of other recreational activities, cultural resources and their promotion, development, and regulation. Historical resources and their promotion, development, and regulation. Promotion and development of Texas image and heritage. Preservation and protection of Texas shrines, monuments, and memorials. International and interstate tourists promotion and development. The Texas Economic Development and Tourism Office as it relates to the subject matter jurisdiction of this committee. That a tacit agreement. The Gulf State Marine Fisheries Compact, and the following state agencies: the Parks and Wildlife Department, the Texas Commission of the Arts, State Cemetery Committee, the Texas State Library and Archives Commission, the Texas Historical Commission, the State Preservation Board, and an office of the state government to the extent that the office promotes the Texas music industry. Find a way to relax in my seat. Like so. Hi guys. On. Probably stop making fun of people that I don't know quite yet. Would be kind of funny if I incidentally goaded him into inviting me on it. I like how you're delving into more local politics instead of focusing on national politics like everybody else. Yeah, it's an interesting thing to do because, like, oh well, you did say the interesting part, but it's like everyone's focused on the outside, and I personally am really interested on the inside. It's everybody's looking at the sausage. I want to look at how it gets made, as inappropriate as that might seem. No one wants to see how the sausage gets made. It matters a little bit to me. I will probably still cover the outside politics. Just to be clear, I'm not looking at any sausages. For sure. I believe you. And this means okay. This does not mean white power. And if it did, what's wrong with white power? It's clear. It's only recreation. I'm like 30 minutes in, and I'm only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 into the numbers of it. Cocaine is the best white power. For sure. Defense and Veteran Affairs. Veterans Affairs. I almost sat in my fucking nuts. It's chaired by Terry M. Wilson and vice chaired by Ray Lopez. This committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to the relations between the state and the federal government, involving defense and emergency preparedness and the veterans issues, the various branches of the military services of the United States, and the realignment of or closures of military bases, the defenses of the state and nation, including terrorism response, emergency preparedness, veterans of military and related services, and the following state agencies: the Texas Military Department, Texas Veteran Commissions, Veterans Land Board, and the Texas Military Preparedness Commission, the Texas Division of Emergency Management, and the Emergency Management Council. Okay, that's warm enough to not chug it, but it's not hot enough to burn my mouth. Committee members. So the Elections Committee is chaired by Reggie Smith and vice chaired by John H. Bucci III. You can't fucking do this to me, man. You cannot do this to me. Oh, man. I have been given the gift of what at this current moment. Because I look at this man and I think no wonders. He's first, second, and third generation. Look at his size. He doesn't deserve that. I don't know this man. I don't know what he's done. I saw his chin and his jawline and how he's got a second chin, and it just kind of like clicked in my brain. Rip the man. I didn't mean this. John H. Bucci. The H stands for hefty. John Hefty Bucci the Third. I gotta stop being a giggly motherfucker. I feel like how this man looks. This committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to the right of suffrage in Texas, primary, special, and general elections, revision, modification, amendment, or change of the election code, the Secretary of State in relations to the elections, campaign finance, and the following state agencies: the Office of Secretary of State. Wait, you mean the Secretary of State doesn't have jurisdiction and matters over the Office of Secretary of State? Energy Resources is chaired by Craig Goldman and vice chaired by Eddie Morales. Oh, man. You see what I see? Why am I judging these people on their looks? We don't care. Well, I kind of care. Like, why? Why am I looking at these people now and just going like, man, that is a fat, chunky motherfucker. When I'm sitting right here, god damn. This committee shall have 11 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to the conservation of energy resources of Texas, the production, regulation, transportation, and development of oil, gas, and other energy resources, mining and the development of mineral deposits within the state, the leasing regulation of mineral rights under public lands, pipelines, pipeline companies, and all others operating as common carriers in the state. Identifying, developing, and using alternative energy sources. Increasing energy efficiency throughout the state. The coordination of the state's efforts relating to the federal designation of threatened and endangered species as it relates to the energy resources in the state. And the following state agencies: the Railroad Commission, the Railroad Commission of Texas, the Texas Representative for Interstate Oil, Gas, and Compact Commission, the Office of Interstate Mining Compact Commissioner for Texas, the State Energy Conservation Office, and the Office of Southern States Energy Board members for Texas. This chair sucks ass. I need a new one. I need a better one. I need a new chair too, as much as I sit in it. Hell yeah, buddy. What I call fucking finessing. Someone was like, hey, in Nick's chat going, hey, like and subscribe to my stuff. I'm like, I will if you like and subscribe to my stuff first. And he's like, fair enough. Link your shit. Now I gotta go abide by my promise. Transaction has very nice. Which committee is the most powerful? Probably whichever one I pick. That's all up to me. I am the power decider here. Oh wait, you're probably thinking energy resources because they have all the energy. Environmental Regulation Committee is chaired by Brooks Landgraf and vice chaired by R.D. Bobby Guerra or Guerra. Guerra. This coffee is actually Jeb Bush can never be on an energy. I'm not gonna lie. I have no real idea who Jeb Bush is. I should probably look him up very quickly. Okay, after I read through the environmental thing. This committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to air, land, and water pollution, including the environmental regulation and industrial development, the regulation of waste disposal, environmental matters that are regulated by the Department of State and Health Services, or the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, oversight of the Texas Commission on Environmental Qualities as it relates to environmental regulation, and the following state agencies: the Texas Low-Level Radioactive Waste Disposal Committee, Compact Commission. I'm sorry, hold on. Hi, I know you can hear me. Hot mic moment. God damn. But you want me to like your shit, man? Like, and I'll just have that on mute so he can get watch time. Here we go. Hey, NC Native, do you have any chair recommendations? Because my ass hates this one. Very good. All right, so the environmental regulation. This committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over matters. Oh no, I already read all that. Texas Low-Level Radioactive Waste Disposal Compact Commission. Okay. Okay, so Jeb Bush. What is his relations with the Bushes? Came to Florida in 1981, where he started real estate development company with partner Armando Codina. John Ellis Bush is an American politician. A member of the Bush political dynasty. He was unsuccessful. Is he really related to the Bushes? George H. Bush. H.W. Bush. Huh. Wait, what? Wait a minute. Okay. What did... I actually don't know much what George H.W. Bush did. In the 2016 Republican primary campaign called Jeb Bush Low Energy Jeb. Oh. Gotta love that Trump. Trumpisms. I love them. So that was environmental regulations. Yeah. We're now at general investigating. My favorite recent discovery, which is the longest listed jurisdictional bitch I've ever seen. Of course, I haven't seen the rest of them, but I think they have the most jurisdictional bullshit in their purview. So let's get into what general investigating even fucking does right now. I don't know if what they did was proper or if there was not a whole lot of hot shit that they slung at Paxton. But to them, in their endeavor, congratulations to the General Investigating Committee. You got your impeachment. I hope you guys are right. And the fewest committee members. Oh yeah, it might be that way. Fewest committee members we've seen so far. There might be a committee with only like 2 or 3 members. Because yeah, the rest of them have like 9 through 11 members. This General Investigation Committee is chaired by Andrew S. Murr and vice chaired by Ann Johnson, with my own representative Charlie Guerin, who I have actually tried to get in contact with. I've wanted to get in contact with him to discuss the potential about maybe getting rid of the Texas Citizen Participation Act in lieu of, like, I don't know, something closer to what Minnesota might have. Because I think, you know, the judge shouldn't be the arbiter of facts because he is the one who weighs the law, not the evidence. You know, the whole fact finder thing, I found that pretty annoying. If you watched Ricada from like 2019, you'll know why I want that gone, and you know why I have a particular hatred towards the TCPA as it applies to people. And if you don't, I'll talk about it later, because that is a frustration I have. This committee shall have 5 members in the House appointed by the Speaker. The Speaker shall 5 members of the House appointed by the Speaker. The Speaker shall appoint the chair and vice chair of the committee. You know, I'm suddenly starting to see the problem just a little bit in the whole Paxton impeachment. The man went after Dade Felon, who was the Speaker of the House. The committee shall have 5 members of the House appointed by the Speaker. If there is interpersonal politics being played, then I suddenly see how this might have been a thing. And it kind of makes sense why they sprung their investigation report right after Paxton went after Dade. Now, this could have just been entirely coincidental. They could have probably just been... Oh. They could have had it in their pockets the whole time. But yeah, if you're appointed by the Speaker of the House, it stands to reason that there should be a level of loyalty to that speaker as a general political idea. You wouldn't want that, but understanding how politics works, someone puts you in a position of power in a certain place, you typically have some level of deference or consideration for that person. So, you know, a level of understanding has suddenly just been founded live, despite having read this during the impeachment. I guess the time needed between that and now has sufficiently given me time to process exactly what this point was. Totally not room for impropriety there. I don't know. It's a little warm. The committee has all powers and duties of General Investigating Committee and shall operate as the General Investigating Committee of the House according to the procedures prescribed by Subchapter B, Chapter 301, Government Code, and the rules of the House as applicable. But yeah, I should also pull up Texas Government Code. Because that is an important thing to have up. I wonder if there's a committee's code. Native, tell me, is dark mode better or should I keep the page bright? So here's dark mode. Here is dark mode disabled. Which one should I do? In the meantime, I'll go back to this. I can probably read it better in dark mode. Okay, then I'll keep it in dark mode. There's some pages where it just doesn't work because there's too little contrast. It's like the texts are kind of bluish, but if you go to it, you probably see HTML format sucks. I just want to say that much. The committee may begin, or B1, the committee may begin as soon as it desires after its members are appointed. The committee shall meet, organize, and adopt rules of evidence and procedures and any other necessary rules. Any other necessary rules of evidence and procedures of any other necessary rules. The committee rule may not conflict with section 301.025 government code. Thank God I have the government code up because I might actually need to look at it. This is a government code. May not conflict with 301.205. Right. PDF. The General Investigating Committee. 01205. Oh, you gotta be a bitch. Refusal to testify. Conflict with the committee rules may not conflict with 01. A witness called by either House or Legislative Committee does not have a privilege to refuse to testify to a fact or produce document on the ground that the testimony or document may tend to disgrace the person or otherwise make the person infamous. The legislature may require a person to testify or produce a document concerning the matter under inquiry before either House or Legislative Committee, even if the person claims that the testimony or document may incriminate him. That's a problem. If a person testifies or produces a document while claiming that the testimony or document may incriminate him, the person may not be indicated or prosecuted for any transaction. Oh, if a person testifies or produces a document while claiming that the testimony or document may incriminate him, the person may not be indicted or prosecuted for any transaction, matter, or thing which the person truthfully testified or produced evidence. A witness has a right to counsel when testifying before the Oh, okay. The committee rules may not conflict with that rule. Whether or not the legislature is in session, the committee may meet at any time or place in the state determined necessary by the committee. If the committee decides not to conduct a joint hearings as provided by Section 301.019 Government Code, the committee shall establish a liaison to fully inform the chair of the Senate committee of the nature and progress of any inquiry by the other committee. 019. The Joint General Investigating Committee hearings on a majority vote of each General Investigating Committee. The committees may conduct joint hearings and investigations. The committees may adopt joint rules to govern the hearing. If the General Investigating Committee conducts committees conduct joint inquiries or investigations, the chairman of the Senate committee shall be the chairman, and the chairman of the House committee shall be the vice chairman. Majority of members from each House of committees constitutes a quorum of joint general investigating members. Okay. On a majority vote, the committee may conduct joint hearings and investigations. The committee may initiate or continue inquiries and hearings concerning state government, any agency or subdivision of government within the state, expenditure of public funds at any level of general government within the state, and any other matter the committee considers necessary for the information of the legislature or for the welfare and protection of state citizens. And inspect the records, documents, and files, and may examine the duties and responsibilities and activities of each state department, agency, and officer, and of each municipality, county, or other political subdivision of the state. If a person disobeys a subpoena or other process that the committee lawfully issues, the committee may cite the person for contempt and cause the person to be prosecuted for contempt, according to the procedure prescribed by Subchapter B, Chapter 301, Government Code, or by other law. The committee shall make reports to members of the legislature that the committee determines are necessary and appropriate. Information held by the committee that, if held by law enforcement agencies or prosecutors, would be accepted from the requirements. Okay, if held by LEOs, LEAs, or prosecutors, would be accepted from the requirements of section 552.021 Government Code. The section under section, oh god, that code is confidential and not subject to public disclosure. God, I hate. Why is governance such cancer? This is a portion of the law. Public disclosure. Alright, I already did that. 5, okay. Open meetings. Okay, 53. Only 162 pages, my guy. You're about like 6 off, my man. Oh my god. And this is only public information. All right. Let's see here. Availability of public information. All right. So, Information held by the committee that, if held by law enforcement agencies or prosecutors, would be accepted from the requirements of sections. Okay, if they would have been accepted from this section of availability. So if it's not public information, then under section 552.108 of that code, is confidential and not subject to public disclosure. Oh, 2-1. All right, so this is basically just saying if the information held by the committee would be accepted from public information, then the exception code of that in the section 552.108 of that code is confidential, not subject to public disclosure. It inevitably reads as a tautology. If the information would have been accepted from public disclosure by a state agency, prosecutor, or law enforcement, then under similarly worded codes of exception, the information held by the committee would also be confidential, not subject to public disclosure. Holy shit. If for any reason that it is necessary to obtain assistance in addition to services provided by the state auditor, attorney general, Texas Legislative Council, or Department of Public Safety, the committee may employ and compensate assistants to assist in any investigation, audit, or legal matter. The committee may investigate a matter related to the misconduct, misfeasance, abuse of office, or incompetency of any individual or officer under Chapter 655 Government Code. The committee has all powers and duties conferred by that chapter for the purpose of conducting the investigation, including the authority to propose articles of impeachment. It's not particularly pertaining to this matter, but I want to point out that at no point in any of these things does it say the state has a right. It seems like a weird thing to tangent, or at least to draw attention towards. However, I do find it important to note that none of these things associate rights for the state in any capacity. They're all powers held by the state. Small thing for me to point out, because I feel like that is important to point out. The committee has original jurisdiction over the receipt, processing, investigation, and resolution of complaints related to appropriate workplace conduct under Rule 15, the housekeeping resolution, and policies adopted by the Committee on House Administration. I tried that. I changed it up for just a second, and I realized I did not like it. I like it more like this. Huzzah. There we go. That's appropriate. That works out really well for me. Yeah. Original receipts, jurisdiction over receipts, processing, investigation, and resolution of complaints. related to appropriate workplace conduct under 15. The member's employee. If a complaint relates to the conduct of a member of the committee, that member's employee, or an individual related to the member or the member's employee, within the third degree of consanguinity, there we go, or within the second degree of affinity as determined by Chapter 57.573 Government Code, the member shall not participate in any committee proceedings related to the complaint. The speaker shall designate a member of the House drawn by lot under subsection E of this section to act in the place of the disqualified member. The designation of a member under this subsection ends when the committee makes its final disposition of the complaint. See you later, native. Hang loose. When a member of the committee is subsection E, when the member is disqualified under subsection D, this section, chief clerk shall prepare a list of. I kind of remember this, but I should read it all the way. Okay. Currently qualified members of the House, omitting the names of the speaker, the disqualified member, each member of the committee, and any member elected from the same county as a disqualified member. The chief clerk shall write on a separate piece of paper of uniform size, color, and name of each member that appears on the prepared list. The chief clerk shall deposit the piece of paper in an opaque container that is designed to permit the random distribution of the pieces of paper after their initial deposits, and to prevent the viewing of any of the pieces of paper at any time. After the pieces of paper are randomly distributed in the container, the sergeant-at-arms shall draw a single piece of paper and deliver that piece of paper to the chief clerk. The chief clerk shall inform the speaker of the name drawn by the sergeant-at-arms and the designation under D. Or designation. So basically, the paper cast ballots if a person is disqualified. And that was general investigations. It was a whole lot. The whole fucking lot. But before we get any further, I just want to establish something. I'm a committee member on fucking coffee and tea. Trust me, I know my shit. And trust me, you want to buy from the Dragon's Treasure. It's a haven for anime and tea lovers. And they now sell coffee, as you can see in this brown banner above. It's not as brown as the coffee color, but it is close enough. And I can tell you, after sipping this coffee, it is a fantastic tasting coffee. Look, if tea's not your stuff, then the coffee is. And I can say, because I've tried it out a bunch of times, that the coffee is good regardless of how little coffee there is. Incredibly watered down, it still tastes really fucking good. It's almost like a tea. It's just got hints of flavor. In fact, I think I might actually prefer it slightly watered down because you can actually get the notes and flavors of the coffee within. And I've gotten pretty good at noticing flavors, and I need to get more cinnamon tea. You can choose your roast, medium, light, or dark. You can do whole bean, grounded, or unroasted. And you can get a 2-pound or 12-ounce bag. You can subscribe to Only Beans, which is basically you can get this for once a month. So I might actually start doing that alongside with my Dragon membership. It's got a winey acidity, floral aroma, creamy body, notes of chocolate and citrus. I can actually taste these better when it's more watered down. It is very good taste despite any amount of watering down, which is just a testament and accomplishment to the roast and the creator of this coffee, the Tea Man. He is experimenting and he knows how to make his stuff. And if you want to get this, use code Layman at checkout. Not just this, but everything on the site. This includes the Dragon's Wing membership. This includes the tea wares. This includes the Mana Potion tea, Special Morning Earl Grey, chocolate cake, and all coffees. Everything on the store can be bought with a 10% off discount if you use code Layman at checkout, and you can enjoy a fantastic tasting tea and coffee with fantastic savings. It is worth the price, I promise you. Try out the coffee. I've been drinking. Very good. It's obviously more strong the more coffee you put into it, the less water. However, even despite the strength I have decided to put in this, which is a whole lot because it's like 8 teaspoons or tablespoons, maybe 10, it's still very good. 8 tablespoons for every 8 ounce. This is a 40-ounce cylinder or a 40-ounce kettle. That means it holds 5 cups. I think that's how that works. No, just 5 times 8 ounces. What's the normal size of a coffee cup? Size of average coffee mug. I have a presumable 8-ounce, 11-ounce mug or 15-ounce mug. It's hard to determine. Is this? But yeah. This coffee, 8-ounce cups, has a minimum line and a maximum line. You might want to fill a little bit above the maximum and minimum line because the heating process and the water filling into the strainer portion will actually boil away some of the water. With that, we go back to the committees. I spent a lot more time on this than I thought it would be a whole lot less. What's fucking going on? So the Higher Education Committee is chaired by John Quimple and vice chaired by Dennis Paul. I should note that coffee is caffeine. And if you're on an empty stomach or empty enough stomach, the caffeine will fuck you up. So you should drink water between your coffee. Or tea. Because tea is also caffeinated. This committee shall have 11 members, the jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to the education beyond high school, colleges, universities of the state of Texas, the following state agencies: the Texas A&M Engineering Experimental Station, Texas A&M Engineering Extension Services, Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, the Texas Guaranteed Student Loan Corporation, and Prepaid Higher Education Tuition Board, and the Texas A&M Transportation Institute. The Committee of Homeland Security and Public Safety Committee. Oh, there he is. Terry Canales. I was wondering if he was on any fucking committees. Oh, sorry. He's the chair of the Transportation Committee. I wonder if Dutton's a member of any one of these. Dutton. Dutton. Shit, he's the chair of juvenile justice and family issues. I guess if you have so many committees, you can have a lot of these people be chairs or vice chairs. What was Garen on? Nope, not even a vice chair or a chair. I guess you can only have so many people in those kind of positions. All right, District 2 was Brian Slatton. He's been removed. Like hard removed for impropriety. You know, good old sleeping with interns that you give alcohol. He's only 19. Couldn't possibly go fucking wrong there. No fucking way. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt whenever I first saw that. But when he admitted to it, like, well, hot shit. Dude was living a dream. And then he wasn't, because he got fucking unelected. Fantastic. All right, so Homeland Security and Public Safety Committee is chaired by Ryan Whelan and vice chaired by Jarvis D. Johnson. This committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to law enforcement, the prevention of crime and apprehension of criminals, the provision of security services by private entities, Homeland Security including the defense of the state and the nation, including terrorism response, disaster mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery, and the following state agencies: the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, the Department of Public Safety, Texas Division in Emergency Management, the Emergency Management Council, the Texas Forensic Science Commission, Texas Military Preparedness Commission, the Commission on State Emergency Communications, and the Texas Crime Stoppers Council. They have fucking jurisdiction over the DPS. These motherfuckers, I should say. The reason why I pointed this guy out particularly is because when Dutton, as much as I like his personality and his presentation, while he was presenting himself in front of the House in terms of the impeachment of Ken Paxton, Dutton was like, we should follow. Oh, damn. Dutton was like more or less aligned with political respects and whatnot, and that we should probably wait and see more evidence. And while I could concur with that, he kind of misstated how a grand jury works in some manner. And it wasn't so egregious, but it was enough to be worthy of being called out. And as much as I may not agree entirely with Terry Canales, I respect him for calling out the misstatements of how the judicial system works on the smaller local government levels. So he got a bit of respect from me. The man has not aged so great, but he's still pretty good. I've seen Terry Canales' younger photos, and man, that receding hairline kicked his ass fucking hard. No disrespect, Terry. Still worthy of praise for that. It was worth being called out, or calling him out. House Administrations. The House Administration Committee is chaired by Will Metcalf and vice chaired by Cheryl Cole. This committee shall have 11 members with jurisdiction over administrative operation of the House and its employees, the adoption of policies, procedures for appropriate workplace conduct under Rule 15 and housekeeping resolutions, including policies and procedures relating to the training of members, officers, and employees. The General House Fund with full control over all expenditures from the fund, all property and equipment and supplies obtained by the House for its use and the use of its members. All office spaces available for the use of the House and its members. Assignment of vacant office spaces, vacant parking spaces, and vacant desks. And on the House floor to the members with the seniority based on cumulative years of service in the House, except that the committee may make these assignments based on the physical disability of a member where it deems proper. So if you have high service years, you get preferable treatment, or if you have a disability. All admissions to the floor during sessions of the House, all proposals to invite non-members to appear before or address the House or joint sessions, all radio, television, and internet broadcasting live or recorded of sessions of the House. These guys are the reasons why we're able to watch the impeachment. The electronic recording of the proceedings of the House of Representatives, and the custody of the recordings of testimony before the House committee, with authority to promulgate reasonable rules, regulations, and conditions concerning the safekeeping, reproducing, and transcribing the recordings, and defraying the costs of transcribing the recordings, subject to other provisions of these rules. All witnesses appearing before the House of or any committee thereof in support or any opposition to any pending legislative proposal, the rule of procedure of the House of Representatives, joint rules of House of Senate, and all proposed amendments. Other matters governing the rules, procedures, and operations of the House assigned by the Speaker and the following state agencies: State Preservation Board. The committee must vote to adopt the annual budget for each House department. That is the House Administration Committee. Ooh. Human Services. Hold up, just gonna take a moment to gather my bearings, because if you don't realize, reading long term and probably with bad form sucks ass. Moment. Water is important. Click. How much caffeine intake. Note to self and note to anyone who consumes this coffee. Despite how voluminous the velocity kettle is, and the fact that you can get 40 ounces of coffee, it is highly not recommended that you drink the full volume capable of the velocity kettle of coffee, because you know the that amount of caffeine is actually 45 milligrams above the level of healthy caffeine intake. I should probably say that because I just realized I might have some not so good effects with the coffee, especially when I try to chug it all fucking in the span of an hour. Intake of coffee over the course of many hours is not good. Intake of coffee over a few hours is not good. Intake of coffee in the span of like multiple pots in the span of like 1 or 2 hours is heavily detrimental. If you are not aware, watch the Chubby Emu video about a man drinking a whole bunch of coffee in a night for a study session and how it fucking crippled his heart. Because it's not good. So yeah. This thing, you should only fill up to about this point. Forty ounce. Let's see, 32 ounce. Okay. So assuming that every 8 ounces of coffee gets you 2 tablespoons. That is 2 times 4. You want 4 8 ounces of coffee. Yeah, that math checks out. Then you will want every 8 ounce requires 2. So there are 2 ounces. That's 2 per scoop, 2 for 8 ounce. 8. 8 tablespoons. So 8 tablespoons for the 4. Sorry. I'm interrupting my whole fucking politics thing here just to give a little bit of advice. And I'm processing it as I'm talking about it, so I'm being a little inconsistent and scatterbrained. So 8 tablespoons, or 7, because even lightly done, this is still good coffee. Yeah, that should do 2 full cup. 2 full things of this. I think this is an 12 ounce. I don't know. I actually think I need to ask someone. Really pertinent that I know this for myself, actually. Okay, yeah, 12 ounces. I love my mom. Great. But yeah, this is a 12-ounce cup. So basically, I should only be drinking about 16, 2.5 cups of coffee at max. Why did I diverge from that? Why did I diverge from the topic at hand to talk about coffee? I'll add that to the title just so people are aware. Okay. Be careful with your coffee consumption. Too much caffeine will hurt you. And I'm keenly aware of that right now. Well, I continue to drink the coffee that might hurt me. Also, I do plan on doing a full video on this coffee, the Coffee Dio. In the near future. I got coffee on the labeling, which is unfortunate because it makes it look a little weird. Guys also got like T crossed out. That's pretty clever. Roast day 6 to 4. Oh no. Oh right. So he roasted this month. So this is still fresh. Yeah. Be careful with your coffee. Back to the topic at hand because I diverged. Holy fuck. All right. Human Services Committee. It is chaired by James B. Frank and vice chaired by Tony. Holy shit, she's on a lot of committees. Appropriations. She's the vice chair of Article 2, Calendars, and Human Services. And this lady takes on a lot. Holy shit. Healthcare reforms, select committee, and redistricting. What's her politics? She's a Democrat. I probably should have taken that guess, honestly. However, I didn't. Human Services. This committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to welfare, rehabilitation programs, and their development, administration, and control, oversight of the Health and Human Services Commission, and the Texas Behavioral Health Executive Council as it relates to the subject matter jurisdiction of this committee. Intellectual disabilities and development of programs incident thereto, and prevention and treatment of intellectual disabilities in the following state agencies: Department of Family and Protection Services, the Texas State Board of Social Workers Examiners, and the Texas State Board of Examiners of Professional Counselors. You know, you could also do more water and less coffee. So you could fill it up to 40 ounces. Wait a minute. Oh, diet for that. Oh, I'll need to focus on that later. Insurance committee. Tom Oliverson is is shared by Tom Oliverson and vice chaired by Ann Johnson. Once again, Ann Johnson. This committee shall have 9 members of jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to insurance and insurance industry, all insurance companies and other organizations of any type writing or issuing policies of insurance in the state of Texas, including their organizations and corporations, management powers and limitations, and the following state agencies: the Texas Department of Insurance, Texas Health Benefits Purchasing Cooperative, and the official Office of Public Insurance Counsel. Well, this is a lady I haven't seen before, and this one as well. International Relations and Economic Development Committee is chaired by Angie Chin Button and vice chaired by Claudia Ordaz. I feel like she's a Democrat. Angie Chen. Okay, this is like the second longest in terms of jurisdiction. This committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to the relations between the state of Texas and other nations, including matters related to trade and trade relations and international trade zones. The relations between state of Texas and federal government, other than matters involving defense, emergency preparedness, and veterans issues. The relations between state of Texas and other states of the United States. Commerce, trade, and manufacturing, including international commerce and trade and regulation of persons participating in international commerce and trade. Cooperation between the state of or local government entity and the scientific and technological community, including private businesses, institutions of higher education, and federal government laboratories. Weights and measures. Workforce training, economic industrial development and support of small businesses, job creation and job training programs, hours, wages, and collective bargaining, and the relationship between employers and employees. International and border regions as described in sections 2056-02E2 and 3. Government Code, economic development, public health and safety issues affecting the border, tourist development and goodwill, and economic development. Tourist development and goodwill in other areas of the state that have experienced a significant increase in the percentage of population that consists of migrants or of immigrants from other nations, according to the last 2 federal decennial consensus, or in another reliable measure. The provision of public services to persons residing in proximity to Texas's international border or in other areas of the state that have experienced a significant increase in the percentage of the population that consists of immigrants from other nations, according to the last 2 federal decennial consensus or any reliable measures. And the following state agency: the Office of State Federal Relations, the Texas Economic Development and Tourism Office, the Texas Workforce Commission, and the Texas Workforce Investment Council. God damn. Why does reading take so much out of me? What? What is that sound anyway? I'm gonna listen to my stream for a moment and see how it sounds. Cause you know, soundboards are funny. Moment and see how it sounds. 'Cause, now soundboards are. Now sound. That is hilarious. I made a mistake of stepping onto Twitter. Get a new subscriber. Get new subscribers and shit. Let's fucking go. 105. I'm gonna do a funny voice from here on out. Let's see if I can do this properly. What gives, Commander? You said this is a Hasbro truck carrying smaller Hasbro trucks. If you get that reference, I much appreciate your attendance in the stream. If you don't get the reference, I still appreciate it, but I'm a little disappointed. Go watch Code Mint. It's a very good series by Purple Eyes. All right, so the Committee of Judiciary and Civil Jurisprudence Committee, or yeah. This piece of wood has been tested significant. Lean back, relax. Stop trying to fucking bullshit. This committee shall have 9 members, jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to fines and penalties arising under civil law, including rights, duties, remedies, and procedures thereunder, and including probate and guardianship matters, civil procedure in the courts of Texas, administrative law and adjudication of rights by administrative agencies, permissions to sue the state, uniform state law, creating, changing, or otherwise affecting courts or of judicial districts of the state, establishing districts up for the elections of judicial officers, courts and court procedures, except where the jurisdiction is specifically granted to some other standing committee, and the following state agencies: the Supreme Court of Appeals, the Court of Criminal Appeals, the State Commission on Judicial Conduct, the Office of Court Administration of the Texas Judicial System, the State Law and Liberty, Texas Judicial Council, and the Judicial Branch Certification Commission, the Office of Attorney General and Board of Law Examiners, the State Bar of Texas, and State Office Administrative Hearings. I need to contact these people then to get rid of TCPA. The chair of Dutton. There we go. Here he is. Juvenile Justice and Family Issues Committee. Chaired by Harold V. Dutton Jr. and vice chaired by John Lujan. This committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to the commitment and rehabilitation of youth, construction, operation, and management of correctional facilities of the state and facilities used for the committee commitment and rehabilitation of youth, juvenile delinquency and gang violence. Criminal law, prohibition standards and penalties as applied to juveniles. Criminal procedure in courts of Texas as it relates to juveniles. So basically everything civil law as it relates to family relationships, including rights, duties, and remedies and procedures. The following state agencies as well: the Texas Juvenile Justice Board, the Texas Juvenile Justice Department, Office of Independent Ombudsman for the Texas Juvenile Justice Department, and the Advisory Council on Juvenile Services. The Land Resource Management Committee is chaired by Dwayne Burns, and vice chaired by Glenn Rogers. This committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to the management of public lands, the power of eminent domain, state-sanctioned theft. I hate that. I hate that significantly. I wish this group did not have eminent domain. Eminent domain's the worst decision. The creation, modification, and regulation of municipal utility districts, annexation, zoning, and other governmental regulations of land use. And the following state agencies: the School Land Board and Board of Lease and University Lands, and the General Land Office. God damn it. You know, when I'm done with this stream, I'm probably going to jump back to an older stream and then stream and listen to that, and then come back and listen to this. Because I think, honestly, this might be... I hope to hear a significant sound improvement. And hopefully my quality of streams will improve with that as well. So, hold on. I keep cutting myself off and being stupid. Be aware when you're using the Velocity kettle. Got little holes in it. Not a perfect strainer. So you will get coffee grounds in your coffee. And since you pour it that way, it doesn't really hold it all that well. You either need to use 2 coffee filters to wrap it entirely if you have 8 tablespoons, or you'll need a pouch, which I'm ordering. Unfortunately, could not order from the Dragon's Treasure because they don't sell that. Hey man, you're failing the grift. Get on with it. The Licensing and Administrative Procedures Committee is chaired by Ken King and vice chaired by Armando Wall. This committee shall have 11 members and jurisdictions over all matters pertaining to the oversight of businesses, industries, general trades, and occupation regulations by the state, regulated by the state. The regulation of greyhound and horse racing and other gaming industries, regulation of the state sale of intoxicating beverages and local option control, the Alcohol Beverage Code, and the following state agencies: the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, the Texas State Office of Administrative Hearings, Texas Board of Architectural Examiners, Texas State Board of Public Accountancy, the Texas Real Estate Commission, the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners, Texas Board of Provisional Engineers and Land Surveyors, the Real Estate Center at Texas A&M University, the Texas Racing Commission, the Texas Appraiser Licensing Certification Board, the Texas Lottery Commission, and the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission. The Local Consent Calendars Committee is chaired by Cody Harris and vice chaired by Retta Andrews Bowers. I hate names that end up with two S's right next to each other, or words. It's weird to go from. It's hard to go non-S, or non-SSS, or Andrews Bowers is weird to say. Andrew Bowers is much more easy to say, or rolls off the tongue better. This committee shall have 11 members, jurisdiction over the placement on appropriate calendars of bills and resolutions that, in the opinion of the committee, are in fact local or will be uncontested and have been recommended as such by the Standing Committee of Original Jurisdiction, and the determination of priorities for floor consideration of bills and resolutions except those within the jurisdiction of the committee and calendars within the committee and the Committee on Resolutions calendars. And before we jump into this, my chair issues have been riding up on me today. Once again, the Dragon's Treasure is a haven for anime and tea lovers. And if you use code Layman at checkout, you get 10% off the purchase. And that includes everything from the tea of the month to the Dragon's Wing to all the tea and the tea wares. Remember, they have coffee now. And I went on a whole diatribe and whatnot about the coffee and safety of coffee or caffeine consumption. But if you want to overdose on caffeine, please do so with the Dragon's Treasure. It's very good coffee. Remember, the teas comes in 5 different types: white, greens, black, oolong, and herbals. Each of them have their own different flavors. Each of them has their own different consistencies. They're all very good teas. I think I like herbals and rooibos. Rooibos the best because I think it has the most flavor to them. Cinnamon flavor, I just like cinnamon flavor. I think that might be the problem. They have apple cider tea. It's probably got butterscotch in here somewhere. So, random tea. Remember to get... If you're buying from the Dragon's Treasure, use code Layman at checkout for 10% off your purchase and enjoy some fantastic taste in coffee and tea with some fantastic savings. Oh well, doesn't matter. Back to the topic. And hopefully I will wrap this up and I'll end the stream as soon as I'm finished the house because I don't think I can get to the Senate quickly enough. Just a quick check. Here in the month of June. This does not have any, like, does not state any powers for the committees. Huh. All right. So I might just have it as strictly the House until I figure out how to read the powers from the Senate. So Natural Resources Committee is chaired by Tracy O. King and Ed Thompson. The Natural Resource Committee shall have 11 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to the conservation of natural resources of Texas, the control and development of land and water resources, including the taking and storing, controlling, and use of all water in the state and its appropriations and allocations, irrigation and irrigation companies and irrigation districts in their incorporation, management, and powers, creation, modification, and regulation of groundwater conservation districts, water supply districts, water control and improvement districts, conservation and reclamation districts, and all other similar organizations of local government dealing with the water and water supply, not otherwise assigned by these rules to another standing committee. Oversight of Texas Commission on Environmental Qualities as it relates to the regulation of water resources, and the following state agencies: the Office of Canadian Office of Canadian River Compact Commission for Texas, the Office of Pecos River Compact Commission for Texas, the Office of Red River Compact Commissioner for Texas, Rio Grande and Office Sabine River Compact Commission, the Southwestern State Water Commission, and the Texas Water Development Board. So a lot of out-of-country, out-of-state water commissions. Pensions, Investments, and Financial Services Committee is chaired by Giovanni Caprione and Stan Lambert, and vice chaired by Stan Lambert. Giovanni. Read his name with a proper amount of emphasis. This committee shall have 9 members with. Why do they suddenly number these? With jurisdictions over all matters pertaining to banking and state and banking system, savings and loan associations, credit unions, and the regulation of state and local bonded indebtedness. The lending of money, benefits of participating in benefits of public retirement system, and the financial obligations of public retirement system. The regulation of securities investments, privacy and identity theft, the following state agencies: the Finance Commission of Texas and the Credit Union Commission, the Office of Consumer Credit Commissioner, the Office of Banking Commissioner, the Texas Department of Banking, the Department of Savings and Mortgage Lending, the Texas Treasury Safekeeping Trust Company, the Texas Public Finance Authority, the Bond Review Board, the Texas Emergency Service Retirement System, Board of Trustees of the Texas Teacher Retirement System of Texas, the Board of Trustees of the Employees Retirement System of Texas, the Board of Trustees of the Texas County and District Retirement System, Board of Trustees of the Texas Municipal Retirement District System, the State Pension Review Board, and the State Security Board. A lot of retirement systems. Which is par for the course with pension. Further away. I also need to stop bouncing my fucking leg like an idiot. The Public Education Committee is chaired by Brad Buckley and vice chaired by Alma Allen. Oh, hey! The nicely dressed lady I mentioned from before is a vice chair, so she would have gotten mentioned anyway. I like her scarf. Or wrap, whatever. I don't know what it's called. The committee shall have 13 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to the public educations, the public school system of Texas, and the financing thereof, the state programming of elementary and secondary education for the public school system of Texas, proposal to create, change, or otherwise alter school districts of the state, and the following organizations and state agencies: the Board of State Board of Education, the Texas Education Agency, Texas Representatives to Education Commission of the States and Southern Regional Education Board, the Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired, State Board of Educator Certification, and the Texas Deaf. We're almost done with the House committees. Redistricting Committee is chaired by Drew Darby and vice chaired by Chris Turner. 15. This committee shall have 15 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to legislative districts, both House and Senate, and any changes or amendments. Congressional districts, their creation, and any changes or amendments establishing districts for the election of education officers or offices or of governing bodies or representatives of the political subdivision or state agency as required by law and preparations for the redistricting process. So you have 3 different calendars. Local calendars, local and consent calendars, and resolution calendars. $11 members. All right. So the resolution calendars committee is chaired by R.D. Bobby Guerra, and vice chaired by Gary Gates. This committee shall have 11 members with jurisdictions over the placement on appropriate calendars of resolutions that, in the opinion of the committee, are in fact congratulatory or memorial. The determination of priorities for floor consideration of resolutions, except those within the jurisdiction of the Committee on Calendars and Committee on Local and Consent Calendars. Those are exceptions. All procedures for expediting the business of the House and express concern or accommodation in an orderly and efficient manner. All resolutions to congratulate, memorialize, or name mascots of the House and other matters concerning rules, procedures, and operations of the House and expressing concern or accommodations aligned by the Speaker. State of Affairs. Probably has the second longest set of State of Affairs feelings. I'm once again brought to my ideas of politics and running for the state house, which is a frustrating idea because I don't like being a thing, ideally, but every time I look at this, every time I think about this, I start thinking, you know what? Maybe I should run. And then it's like, no, wait, maybe I shouldn't. Figure that out later. So the State Affairs Committee is chaired by Todd Hunter and vice chaired by Ana Hernandez. State of Affairs. This committee shall have 13 members with jurisdictions over all matters pertaining to the questions of matters of state policy, administration of state government, the organization, operations, powers, regulation, and management of state departments, agencies, and institutions, the operation and regulation of public lands and state buildings, the duties and conduct of officers, employees of the state government, the duties and conduct of candidates for public office, of persons with an interest in influencing public policies, that's a weird one. So, does this mean that people who are private citizens will have an interest in influencing public policy, like me? Does this mean that they have the duties and the conduct of? Interesting. Maybe. I might be overreading it. The operation of state government and its agencies and departments, all of above except where jurisdiction is specifically granted to some other standing committee, access of the state agencies to scientific and technological information, the regulation and deregulation of electric utilities and the electric industry, the regulation and deregulation of telecommunications utilities, the telecommunications industry, electric utility regulation as it relates to energy production and consumption, pipelines, pipeline companies, and all others operating as common carriers in the state, the regulation and deregulation of other industries, jurisdictions of which is not specifically assigned to another committee under these rules. Advances in scientific and technology, including telecommunications, electronic technology, or automated data processing by state agencies, including institutions of higher education. The promotion within the state of an advance described by subdivision 14 of this section. Cybersecurity, and the following organizations and state agencies: the Council of State Government, the National Conference of State Legislature, the Office of the Governor, the Texas Ethics Commission, the Texas Facilities Commission, the Texas Department of Information Resources, the Inaugural Endowment Fund Committee, the Sunset Advisory Commission of the Public Utility Commission of the Texas, and the Office of Public Utility Counsel. Dutton once again. No, all right. This is his one. The Transportation Committee is chaired by Terry Canales and vice chaired by John Rainey. This committee shall have 13 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to commercial motor vehicles, both bus and truck, and their control, regulation, licensing, and operation. The Texas highway system, including all roads, bridges, and ferries constituting a part of the system, once again. But how about now? Can you hear me now? So this mic requires some level of directional speaking. Like, I have to kind of speak into it to get people to hear me. I was speaking away from. Oh yeah, I love that. Which means probably that you couldn't hear me or hear people from offset. Yeah, that kind of sucks though. My legs are all wobbly because of this fucking chair and the way I have to sit in it. I feel like I gotta saddle in this chair. Licensing and operation. The Texas highway system operating. Licensing of private passenger vehicles to operate on the roads and the highways of the state. The regulation and control of traffic on the public highways of the state of Texas. Railroads and street railway lines, interurban railway lines, steamship companies, and express companies. Airport, air traffic, airlines, and other organizations engaged in transportation by means of aerial flight. Water transport in the state of Texas and the rivers, harbors, and related facilities used in the water transportation and the agencies of government exercising supervision and control thereof. The regulations of metropolitan transit and the following state agencies: the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles, the Texas Department of Transportation, and the Texas Transport Commission. The Transportation Commission. Urban Affairs Committee is chaired by J.M. Lozano and vice chaired by Gary Gates. This committee shall have 9 members with jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to municipalities, including their creations, organizations, powers, governments, and finance, and the compensation and duties of their officers and employees. Home rule municipalities, their relationships to the state and their powers, authority, and limitations. The creation or change of metropolitan areas, and the form of government under which these areas operate. The problems and issues particularly affecting metropolitan areas of the state. Other units of local governments not otherwise assigned by these rules to other standing committees. Establishing districts for the election of governing bodies of municipalities. Land use regulations by municipalities and the following state agencies: Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs and the Texas Commission on Fire Protection. And the last of the non-select committees, the Committee of Ways and Means, is chaired by Morgan Meyer and vice chaired by Sean Tierra. Or Tierra. No, Thierry. Thierry or Thierry. No pronunciations here. There. This committee shall have 11 members and jurisdictions over all bills and resolutions proposing to raise state revenue, all bills, resolutions proposing to levy state taxes or other fees, all proposals to modify, amend, or change any existing state tax or revenue statute, all proposal to regulate manner of collection of state revenues and taxes, all bills and resolutions and proposals. Resolutions containing provisions resulting in automatic allocation of funds from the state treasury. Bills, resolutions diverting funds from the state treasury or preventing funds from going in that otherwise would be placed in the state treasury. Bills and resolutions proposing to permit a local government to raise revenue. Bills and resolutions proposing to permit a local government to levy or impose property taxes, sales and use taxes, or other taxes and fees. Proposals to modify, amend, or change any existing local government tax. Or revenue, all proposals to regulate the manner or collection of local governments, revenues, and taxes. All bills and resolutions relating to the appraisal of property or taxation. All bills and resolutions relating to the tax code. And the following organizations, state agencies: the Multi-State Tax Commission and the Comptroller of Public Accounts. They've got specific proclamations. All right, so we will lightly address these groups. So the oh, fuck. That one, highly off course. Community Safety Select Committee is chaired by Ryan Whelan and vice chaired by Jarvis D. Johnson. The purpose and jurisdiction. This committee has jurisdiction over all matters pertaining to community safety related to the possession, use, and sale, transfer of firearms and ammunition, and associated criminal offenses and penalties. This committee shall have 13 members and shall have the authority and duties conferred I could just cut it off and get an earlier do that. The duties conferred on standing committees under the rules of the House of Representatives. The committee expires on the date of the 89th Legislature convenes. So these are all specifically made for the current current group. So the Educational Opportunities and Enrichment Select Committee is chaired by Brad Buckley and vice chaired by Irvin Hawkins. All right, reporting the committee shall. Okay. This committee shall have 15 members and shall have the same authority and duties conferred. Oh, it's basically the House of Representatives defer the rules. The committee is created to consider issues and matters that broadly affect educational opportunities for K to 12 students in Texas and make recommendations for ensuring all Texas youth enjoy equal educational opportunities and the freedom to attain a quality education regardless of circumstance, improving outcomes for Texas public school students and meaningfully supporting educators and education institutions, and modernizing assessment and accountability measures for Texas school educations K through 12. healthcare reform select committee is chaired by Sam Harless and vice chaired by Donna Howard. All right, this committee shall have 11 members. And this jurisdiction committee created reduce the impact of excessive healthcare costs on the efficacy of government-sponsored health plans. Government-sponsored health plans and private health insurance market, including the corresponding impact on individuals, businesses, and state governments, improving healthcare affordability, including factors such as transparency, competition, and patient incentives, reducing the impact of government benefit administrative reducing the impact of government benefit, administrative, and contractual coverage, mandates, and corresponding impact on employer consumer premiums and out-of-pocket cost, improving accessibility, access to affordable, quality, and comprehensive healthcare, especially for low-income and at-risk population, improving access to and affordability of prescription drugs, improving outreach to families with children who are eligible for Medicaid or CHIP, including children in rural areas, and reducing the impact of delayed care on the state's healthcare delivery system and healthcare costs and patient outcomes. Oh wait, fuck. That was my one tab. And this will wrap up my stream, or at least the Senate bullshit. The Youth Health and Safety Select Committee is chaired by Sinfronian Thompson and vice chaired by Lacey Hull. This committee shall have 9 members and shall have the same authority and duties conferred on state committees. All right, its jurisdictions. Improving the ability of federal, state, and local government entities to address the needs of Texas youth through expanding coordination between all programs and systems that serve youth and their families, including child protective services and mental health services, education institutions, juvenile justice system. Creating a safer environment for Texas youth in schools and local communities. The use by Texas youth of social media and online platforms, including their design and operations and the corresponding impact on the privacy, health, and safety of Texas youth. The allocation and use of state resources for preventative and rehabilitative services that address the primary challenges facing Texas youth placed in juvenile justice system. The expansion of prevention efforts and strengthening the service systems to permit behavioral health and challenges faced by Texas youth to address closer to their homes, including efforts and systems that permit youth to remain in their classrooms and stay out of institutionalized healthcare and juvenile justice systems, and program services and governmental actions focused on rehabilitations of youthful offenders, including considerations related to development factors that impact a youth's entry into the justice system. Basically, we're trying to protect kids. I hope it does effectively at that. I doubt heavily the capacity of these government agencies. However, if its missions is to help improve things, I hope it can and will. These are the House committees. I don't think the Texas Senate committees actually have special authorities. Texas Senate committee jurisdiction. No. Well, I will try to wrap up very quickly because I need to run to the restroom and I kind of just don't want it to run there and come back. So, all that said, thank you for watching. I appreciate you coming to watch the show. Anyone who came in to watch live, anybody who's going to be watching on the replay, I appreciate your viewership despite my scatterbrain. I especially appreciate it because of my scatterbrain. Hope to see you guys next time. Whenever I stream, I'll probably try to figure out something to do with I'm either going to cover news that popped up over the week, or I'll figure out something to do with the Texas Senate committees in their jurisdiction. Before I go, remember you can get 10% off of everything from tea. I almost said Texas tea. Actually, yeah, it is technically Texas tea. That is the tea man. He is based in Travis County. That's actually where he's at. The Texas tea. Get 10% off the Dragon's Treasure if you use code Layman at checkout for 10% off. That's 10% off of everything from the Dragon's Wings membership to the tea strainer, tea wares, the tea, and then the coffee. It's a haven for anime and tea lovers. Remember, use code Layman for 10% off the discount or 10% off your purchase. Fantastic savings with fantastic tasting tea and coffee. If you liked what you saw, if you liked what you heard, then please come and join me on a stream any other time. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube and on Rumble. I might establish a Twitch stream or go to Kick for gaming stuff rather than gaming on YouTube and on Rumble. However, those are probably the places I'll stay at right now. If I go to Twitch, I might just do a VTuber thing. It's entirely possible that I might do VTuber stuff. Need to find the money and to find the person that'll create an avatar for me. Like some advice from a prominent VTuber. However, that is my goal. I do plan on at least engaging that market. Because it's not really that I want to just be an anonymous group person without face. It's an untapped market and I would like to get into it. Regardless of that, like on YouTube and on Rumble, you can find me on back.by or legallayman.locals.com. Legal Layman or Locals is a normal standard, like a Patreon with bank interaction. Back.buy is the cryptocurrency equivalent of that, which is on the blockchain. So if you don't like the banks that could cancel me at any time, then subscribe or support me on back.buy. That's the place you can find me. Where else? Where else? I'm forgetting a lot of my links. I haven't done this in a while. And you can find me on Twitter at Legal Layman with 2 N's, where you can find all of my show updates. I'll also try to do them on... I've also been doing them on locals. So yeah. With all that said, I will start with a second time of saying thank you. I appreciate the watch. I appreciate the support. I'll see you guys next time. I'll announce what I'll be doing on Twitter or on locals and on locals whenever I figure it out. With all that said, see you guys next time. Hopefully the sound quality of this got a lot better from the last streams, and I hope to keep up improving my production. So, see you guys later. Hang loose.